Hello, welcome to the Game Podcast. My name is Steven Stewart, and I'm excited today for more of the Mole Ohio 2025 postseason coverage and interviews. And joins today a fellow accountant, the man who has every coalition. It's Josh. Josh, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I feel kind of nervous even doing this.
Why?
I don't know. It just feels very like I'm on a show or interviewing for a job. But I'm been good. The season has been really fun to watch, and just to watch myself and to see the game. It's been actually really enjoyable.
You know, I too really love watching the season and seeing the game, seeing your game entries, because I felt like you were almost the protagonist of the season, or maybe the anti-hero, or whatever Tim wants to call it. But you were kind of a focal person because I think I hope that we got to see a lot of both confessionals as well as like one-on-one conversations you and other players that really kind of built out your game. So I felt like I got to see it, but you're going to walk me through here as we talk today about what I didn't get to see about your game.
Yeah, I know. I would probably say more of an antagonist. But
The OTT N5 rating and rocking it.
Yeah, I don't even know if I had many fans, but a lot of OTTNs, but on purpose sometimes.
So, prior to playing the Mole Ohio, what other live games had you played?
I started playing live games back in 2022. My first one was Ascendance, which I've done twice, and then I played Synergy, Big Brother Hogwarts. I've done Michigan Mole, Who is the Mole, Ohio, and BB Chicago. That's pretty much the gist. So I've kind of been around the live game circuit. I don't play Survivor. Yet. I gotta probably get more in shape for that first. But I'm not even a Mole super fan. I don't watch the show. So coming into it, I played Who is the Mole Ohio, where I was the first out. And I was kind of just like in a tailspin where I'm like, okay, that's it. I'm just first out. And I mean, getting first out is a horrible feeling because you watch everybody play the game and you just see everyone's mad scramble. So I told myself, all right, Mole's not for me. Then I played Michigan Mole, and I was lucky enough to make it all the way to the finale.
Oh, dang.
And I was a runner-up. And I knew who the mole was, but I just didn't get enough questions right. And I felt super proud of myself there. So then, and I had, that's probably one of my favorite games I played. So I told myself, okay, now I'm gonna play the mole games now. So then this was my next stop.
On your world tour, that's going to unfold. So I'm curious. So what did you feel that you did successfully in the Michigan Mole, and that you wanted, and what did you want to replicate in the Mole Ohio?
Yeah, so there was two things. Like I basically channeled a lot of things that happened to me in my first two Mole games to use them here. So my success in Michigan Mole was finding a tight-knit group of allies, two other people, and having like a core three that basically shared everything with each other. No deception amongst the three, but to cause deception amongst the house. So I really wanted to find that here, lock down two people who would see that same type of vision, and that I know that I can fully trust, and ultimately have us make it to the finale. And then basically at that point, may the best man win. So that was going to be what I wanted with the Sus Squad when I first found them. We'll get into them, I guess. But
yeah, but that's a big part of your story.
And then when I was first out in my other Mole game, I basically told myself that I needed to be more of a self-interested player as well. So any opportunities to advance myself and maybe hurt the group, I would do it because I'm not a skilled mole player. I'm not someone who is traditionally going to memorize all the details, have a really clean notebook, and play the statistics game. Yeah. So I'm a big person who just kind of goes by their gut, just kind of fly by the seat of my pants in mole games. So I was basically just gonna shoot darts at the wall, and ultimately I can just be whoever I want to be in the game because there's kind of no repercussions to it that I think, because they can't vote you out. So if I piss people off, it's like, okay, you're pissed off at me. You don't share information with me. That's the worst that
Don't
could happen.
care.
Or you just don't pick me for challenges. I guess that's also something else that could happen.
You unfortunately got the feel. You felt that a lot day 3.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, so those are things you took away you wanted to do. Did you have any takeaways of things you didn't want to do or you wanted to change from those 2 experiences?
I really wanted to find ways to hurt the players or get the players who I thought were my biggest competition to get out.
That's hard. That's hard in a game like this.
This is very hard in a game like this. So the most you can do is just kind of maybe try to ice them out, or it's honestly really challenging. But it was more of a hope rather than a try to do. Like from day 1, I kind of thought you were a good candidate.
You have a confessional like episode 1, episode 2. You kind of list like, I want to see this person go home.
Yeah, because the first night everybody's studying the dossiers, and they know me better than I know me, and when I see, what's what's Aaron's favorite song? Oh, it's this, and I'm like, oh my god, how do these people have all this like right on the brink of their mind?
Luke was making that a game that first night where he was on the couch, he'd throw out a question, see people answer, and like he was doing that. And I also remember was like, man, I am not committing everyone's stuff to memory either. I was like, this is too much information for one person.
So I saw someone like Brienne was super sharp, and she had all the dossier stats locked down. And it didn't help that I lost my dossier, which is funny that you did that, which is a pretty cool move, to be honest. And I kind of encourage other players, other mole players, to think along those lines. But you probably stole the worst person's dossier to take, because I wasn't gonna remember shit from it.
Well, I was curious. So, had you had your dossier that night, what would you have done differently?
I mean, I would have wrote everything down in my notebook and just kind of have the information there. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it didn't really matter as much because male Aaron, let me basically use his book for the first half of the game. If I said, hey, can I borrow your notebook? He said, sure. Like, that's how tight of a bond I felt like we had.
You have a shout out from Jenny Daxton saying he loves you. And so he's watching right now.
Oh my gosh. I didn't realize people were watching this.
Emily is here as well.
Yeah. Oh, snake emoji.
So you apply for the Mole Ohio. You get cast. You show up to the game. Talk to me about kind of all the pregame stuff that occurs, because there's a big moment where you, Luke, and Aaron are going to sit on the couch. But kind of talk me through that kind of pregame as everyone's arriving and you're seeing the players.
So when everybody was arriving, I do horrible in big group settings, so I felt really uncomfortable at first. Well, there was a point where everybody was kind of standing in the kitchen a little bit stiff, introducing themselves. And I kind of just stayed out of it just because too many people in a room. So like my bread and butter and just kind of human connection is one-on-one. I'm not a big a community group person.
Mhm.
So the pregame, I was trying to just see who I can like quickly vibe with,
Mhm.
and ultimately, I was just trying to watch people's eyes and see like their engagement levels, just to see if I could pick up on anything. And honestly, the pregame wasn't a huge deal to me. It was once we got the notebooks and we started to think about things is when it.
Well, that scene where we see the Seth Squad come together.
Mhm.
Correct me wrong, that happened in that right before the game started, right? Because like some of us go upstairs, some of you are downstairs. Am I correct with that?
Yeah, you know what? I think you're right. Me and Aaron, we kind of clicked. We had a lot of like similar interests, and then me and Luke, we kind of were already kind of shooting little like daggers at each other, but like in a fun way. So when we were in the downstairs and there was just the three of us, one of the strategies that I was actually wanting to do was Tim was there and I said, "Hey Tim, you want to film us right now?" And by doing that, I just felt like I kind of got
The ball rolling.
the ball rolling, and if since it's actually going to be filmed, maybe this is an opportunity for players to want to actually work together, because an alliance forming that's going to be in an episode, that's pretty cool, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I used that opportunity to kind of say, hey, like, why don't we make an alliance? Like, fun fact, like, we actually were talking about maybe making an alliance, and then we had to pull Tim in and then said, film this. So anytime I wanted to talk strategy with someone, I always said like, "Hey, film this," which is probably why I'm viewed a lot in the one-on-ones, because I'm always.
Honestly, I think that's a great idea. That's not something I was thinking about. It's like grab someone and say, turn your camera on and capture this moment. I was thinking like, hey, we should tell players like, you also have phones and cameras. You should also film yourself too if like you think you're gonna have a conversation that matters.
And I mean, I love reality TV. I've been a big fan of all the main shows.
You're Team TV.
I'm Team TV. I am. I play very differently in non-episodic games versus episodic games. So the people who watch me in the episode games always think I'm a snake, I'm a villain, or I do things to just blow things up, and that just comes from I loved like 2000s reality game shows.
What's your favorite 2000s reality game show?
Probably Big Brother, to be honest. I was a big fan of Big Brother 6 and then Survivor too. It's some of my Survivor from 2000 in the 2000s was insane, and I'm not really a big Survivor fan anymore, to be honest. But I love good TV, so I kind of want to be myself, be who I wanted to be on if I'm ever in a show. So if I ever get cast on a show, I'm gonna be Team TV, like unless the money is really high. Like always say, if the prize is over $500,000. I'm gonna play more serious. But under 500K, just expect me to kind of.
All right, so you end up getting cast for the Moles Squid Games. You're one of 450 players playing for $4.5 million. Team I want to win or Team TV in a situation like that?
Oh, Team TV for sure. I just watched the first 13 minutes of the Squid Game challenge game, and it's just too easy to get eliminated and not have any moment on the show. Mm-hmm. So the first opportunity to step up, I would do it, even if it means I'm probably gonna be out.
You're gonna have your moments.
I'm gonna have my moment, which is kind of what led to the first thing with the bottle, the tube opening.
Before we get that, final question: anyone that cast you knew or recognized before?
Yeah. Me and Emily Pitch, we played Ascendance together a couple years ago. And we're friends. So seeing her was interesting. And then did I know anybody else? I knew Danny just a little bit, and then I knew Noah a little bit.
Okay.
But everybody else kind of maybe heard or seen of, but like no other like actual relationships, which was good to me because I don't I feel like playing the mole with people you know is like another layer of complexity.
So the game begins, and we have these two opening radio-heavy challenges. The first challenge is you're in a car with Aaron. I'm not remember. You're with Aaron and Noah, I believe, in a car, and you have to relay information.
Yeah.
What? How did this challenge go for you? Anything stand out?
No, I mean, we struggled, and I let them basically drive the challenge because I was already trying to take notes on what they were doing and what potentially the quiz questions can be. So I was not going to get involved with the whole walkie-talkies because I know that a walkie-talkie in a mole game is just going to be a disaster, and I need my mental focus for when we start taking quizzes. So I didn't want to drain my social battery with that.
Anything stand out to you about any players this challenge?
Based off the division of the groups, I didn't think it was strange because I think it was like we had a specific order, like guys and girls.
Yeah, we had a group of old girls, Lachey, Danny, and Emily. We had a mix of with me, with Emily and Aaron, and then your team was and Aaron, and then there was Joe, Luke, and Riley together.
Yeah, I found that a little bit weird. And then going in, my gut just said a female was going to be the mole. When I saw that for some reason, nothing to really go off of, but yeah, nothing to stand out other than that.
So our second challenge, again, more radios. We're in groups of 4 this time and have to convey a series of symbols. And you end up in a team with me, Aaron, as well as Riley, I believe.
Yeah.
Any thoughts about this challenge? Because this challenge goes horribly overall. I'm curious what your takeaways are watching. Because from what I recall, you and Riley kind of don't have much of a role in this challenge. It's Aaron does a lot, and me with the walkie-talkie in a sense.
Yeah, because we were just basically saying what our pictures were, and then getting information. So like it wasn't that difficult. It was funny when Aaron was basically he memorized them, so he wasn't even looking at the board, and we're like pointing, look at the board. But yeah, I mean that ended up having a little bit of a heated discussion afterwards, between our team and the other team, which was fun to kind of see a little bit of discourse in the game and having people kind of point fingers at each other. So I dig that. I thought that was fun.
So one thing that happens that first day is we all get a tube, and we're told, here's a tube. If you open it, there will be consequences. And immediately, you're like, guys, I'm opening it. This is what I'm doing. And then you spend 10 minutes trying to figure out how to open it, which was not easy to open, but you do eventually get open. Talk me through your thoughts when you hear about the tube and your decision to open it.
Yeah, I was easily tempted. I thought that my thought process was that if you give everybody a tube and say nobody open it, somebody is going to open it. It's just a guarantee. And so I wanted to be the person to do that because, especially being a first out, I told myself, I kind of thought that there would be a a prize for me if I opened it, even though that there will be consequences. But I kind of thought that there'd be consequences for the group, and that I would get an exemption or a +1 or something. So I thought that the risk really, or the reward outweighed the risk.
This is the poker player in you coming out right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of a decision-making process. Was it really selfish? Yeah, it was. I mean, I tried to get other people to open theirs too, because I kind of didn't want to be alone with it. But no one wanted to. But could I have handled it differently? Yes, I could have. I could have waited on it and then opened it and kind of had a little bit of an easier reason why. But obviously, my itchiness to open it kind of led people to either not trust me or view me as a not a good team player.
Well, I think that kind of a lot happens to you in very quick succession, right? We get the tubes, you're like, I'm opening it, and then we go have those confessionals, and I end up with your dossier because like it's just lying around. Emily kicks over me, I just like sure, and I take it and hide it, and so you lose your dossier. So everyone's kind of hearing about that. Everyone's like, did Josh really lose it? I don't know. Maybe he's just making a show of things. There's kind of your name is kind of in everyone's mouths by in that first night.
Yeah, I think that I was told or asked if I hid my own dossier to cause like a ruckus, and I said, I'm like, it's like 10 a.m. right now, and I'm already in shambles. I mean, if there's any pro to all of this, it was that there was so much heat on me right in the beginning that people kind of thought that I wasn't going to be the mole, because the mole would not do that this early. So I think I was able to maybe garner some trust by doing all this deception.
Definitely, I know for me, it was like, again, with every player, it's the question. That's kind of like, okay, Josh is being very upfront and very transparent what he's doing. And if I ignore him, am I going to be really sad? It's kind of just like, oh, man. Like, a lot of players you don't really know yet. But you're just like, okay, I have to make a decision. Or like, how much am I writing this off versus waiting this? I don't know.
Yeah.
A couple things. So Luke loses his tube. What was your thought when you heard about that?
Oh, so when Luke lost the tube, he came up to me and accused me of taking it. So that's strike 3 on me. And I had to basically beg to Luke that I wasn't the one to do it. I almost felt guilty for something I didn't do. So Luke, half of it was Luke kind of giving me a hard time, and then half of it I think maybe Luke thought I could have taken it just to be chaotic. But I swore up and down that I didn't. So when he lost it, it was interesting to me because this is my ally too. So I was hoping that maybe something good would happen to him.
I did notice that first night, like your dossier is gone, a bunch of us on the table were working. I kind of said, hey, Josh, if you want to copy with me, you're welcome to copy, but you kind of were with Aaron at the moment. Like, okay, those two seem to be together. I don't think I ever did clock that you and Luke and Aaron together was a threesome. So I was very surprised learning that kind of later in the game. I felt you kept that kind of under wraps pretty well.
Yeah, and I mean, to be honest, it was I wasn't even trying to keep it that much under wraps. It was, we would talk. We had that 3, and then we kind of had a Riley in as well. It's like the 4 of us kind of came up to an agreement that we would all kind of team up. And so I mean that's where my loyalties were gonna go. And I'm truthfully, I was probably going to be loyal to Riley the most out of everybody there.
Yeah, you and Riley end up choosing to sleep on the couches on the first floor. How like was that just because like most of those were taken, or and like the upstairs, the third floor was a greenhouse?
So when I play games, I don't really sleep.
You don't sleep much the course of these 4 days. From what I can
No,
tell.
and you could definitely tell. So I think it's just due to the adrenaline of the game, just FOMO, and I kind of want to. And I feel like if I sleep on the couch, I'll always be privy to something that's going on. So if there's gaming in the main rooms, I'll know of it. So so I just wanted to stay. I wanted to stay on the couch and sleep there, and then Riley and I, we were both on the couches, and we kind of talked about our suspects and what we were going to do tomorrow. So that was yeah.
The first quiz happens. Who are you suspecting this early on in the game?
I was really suspecting Brienne and who else was I suspecting? I think Brienne was my main suspect, but I kind of was throwing just I kind of just whipped through the quiz, spread my answers kind of sporadically, and hoped to get a good enough score. I didn't remember the questions afterwards.
I mean, I think like most of us, you probably were surprised with how pointed that quiz was with the questions.
Yeah, I was ready to kind of see so many groupings, and I was kind of ready to answer like that. So then once I saw the individual answers for each player, I basically didn't even know. It was hard for me because I was not really knowing any of the dossier information that well. So I just kind of jumped answers off different people and just kind of called it a day.
So Riley going out first was probably was that the worst case scenario for you, or would it have been worse if Aaron went out? Aaron went out for you.
I think if me and any of Riley, Aaron, or Luke going would have been bad for me, just because why is he going home? Because if to me that Riley going home was probably one of the more impactful rounds for me, just because I was always wondering, like, what did Riley put on the quiz?
Mm-hmm.
But because we talked about certain suspects, but you just never know how someone's going to answer, and especially with the quiz that we were given. So once he went home, that was tough. And I actually kind of thought, like, there was always a thought in the back of my mind that Riley would be an excellent mole. So I kind of was always kind of having like a little thought on him. So once he went home, I mean, there was like, okay, it's not him, but I was bummed. I was really bummed.
So round 2, we start with mini golf. And on mini golf, we have 2 people, our best golfer, Brienne, worst golfer, Luke. And the rest of us are on question duty. What stood out to you about this challenge?
So I actually wanted to do mini golf. And then I kind of got vetoed by Brienne, or because she wanted to do it. But because they were talking about it being real golf, and I'm like, it's not going to be real golf. It's probably
we're going to do an 18-hole course in 30 minutes, guys. Get ready.
So, yeah, I mean, in terms of the trivia questions, a lot of them were hard, to be honest. So none of the answers that people got.
By the way, you were given a sports question. Did you get yours right?
Yeah, it was a Kobe question about an Oscar win, which I got right. But nothing like truly stood out to me there. I mean, obviously, Luke and Brienne doing the mini golf kind of raised suspicion to me, because if you had to ask, okay, is the mole doing mini golf or is the mole answering questions? You would think, okay, the mole is answering questions. So
Yeah.
I thought, okay, maybe the mole is like stepping up to do this challenge right here. So, and I had already kind of thought Brienne, and when you get tunnel vision on someone, that's like, so I was kind of living in my own fantasy a little bit.
After that challenge, we have lunch, and then we go back and we have this chain challenge. So we're all chained together. We can send up to 5 people, and where something will happen when they leave, and we may be able to send more or less. We don't know. This challenge goes well for you.
Yeah, I mean, I knew for sure there was going to be a +1 or something, and something good. I knew for sure. So, I remember whispering to Lachey that she should also step up because there's probably going to be something good. And so when I said, "Oh, I wanted to do the golf, so can I do this?" And so they let me go second, and I snatched the +1, which I knew is not going to look great to the group. But like, come on, I feel like it's even more suspicious if you don't take a +1, right?
Yeah, so let's talk about this. So you and Danny both takes the jokers, and Aaron with an E and Emily don't take anything. Then, so any takeaways from that? Any takeaways from that for you?
Yeah. So, Emily not taking anything was weird. And I should have probably taken note of that. And then me and Danny taking the +1s. I mean, it was expected, but interestingly, I mean, so far, me and Danny have done very similar actions. She lost her tube, lost or forgot it, round 1, and then she took the +1, and I took and I did the same thing in a way, and there was a lot more public heat on me, but hers was more okay, like below the surface, which almost kind of played against her because people are looking for below the surface thoughts. So, yeah, I got into a little bit of a verbal scuffle with Noah.
Over what?
Well, Noah about how we're letting the same people sabotage the missions and they're not thinking about the pot. And I'm like, I mean, come on. We lost $10 for the pot. Here, like, here's $10. Like, so, and I said, I mean, there's only one winner in this game, and I'm not even concerned about how much money we're making at this point. So any opportunity for an advantage, I'm gonna take it every single day of the week. And anyone else that doesn't, I'm gonna be suspicious of. So we got into a little bit of an argument there, but which honestly I kind of found suspicious of him.
Tim is saying your line, as under the impression only one person would win the game, was a very good line.
I know that was so. It was a little bit passive aggressive, but heat of the moment, and it's true. I think that in the mall, you got to prioritize yourself first, and some people aren't going to like that. Some people aren't going to play like that, and that's fine. But that's the beauty of the game. Everybody can come in with their own strategies. So we're all trying to play each other at the same time. We're not all trying to figure out who the mole is and then tell everybody who the mole is.
I think the comparison of you to Danny is interesting, and I hadn't really thought of that before because both of you have the issue of the tube. I think, and both of you take the Joker. I think two things Danny does, I think that really shocks people is it's such a surprise that she didn't have her tube at that moment. Well, we all knew you had opened it. It was just like, oh, Danny doesn't have it. And then the trivia question, right? you get your sports question right. Danny does not know her Cincinnati chili. And this is a large point question. Everyone's like, the food reporter doesn't know the food question. What's going on here?
Yeah, and then there was you can kind of see the snowball start to roll with people's thought processes with her, and I mean myself included. So that was
in the second round. What are you and the Sus Squad talking about at this point?
Oh my god, it's such a blur. I can barely remember. we were pretty cohesive in the beginning of the game. We would kind of do our own little thing, and then we would link up and we would talk about our suspects, who we think it is, who we think it's not. I know Luke would say stuff, okay, I don't think it's Joe. And then I would say, I don't think it's this person. So we never really on like, okay, I think it's these people. But we were kind of just saying, okay, I don't think it's who we didn't think it was. So it wasn't as helpful as I honestly wanted it to be. I was really hoping for it to be really heart to heart. Okay, let's figure this out. Let's
lay down the notebooks, compare your quiz scores. Let's start doing some numbers here.
We didn't do the sitting down, the really like getting down to the nitty gritty, which was disappointing. And honestly, I kind of wish that I maybe pivoted from that group and maybe found some other people that would be willing to play like that.
So if you're not with Aaron and Luke, who would be Sus Squad 2.0? Who would you have liked to brought in?
Honestly, I think I probably should have worked with you. But I lost to when I played Michigan Mole, I worked with a Mole super fan. His name's Alex Fidel, and he was I recognize him. He was a great player. She was honest with me. He was genuine with me, and he told me everything. Even when we were getting down to like the finals, we were saying, "Okay, it's this person," and he crushed me on the quiz. So I kind of had that thought of, okay, I don't want to get crushed by my closest ally.
Yeah.
I wanna be able to maybe play a little bit differently. So I probably should have worked with you closer. I should have worked with maybe more with Aaron, female Aaron, and maybe Danny a little bit more. But yeah, it was. I mean, the problem is too, I was having a blast and having fun with the Sus Squad.
Which it's like half the point of these games is to have fun, so you can't complain. That's
I enjoyed that group, even if it wasn't good for the game. I was enjoying it.
Yeah, I think Aaron with an E would have been pretty receptive because I think Aaron E was kind of also lone wolfing it. I don't know what I would have done. I think I think had you come to me early on and really like I think I would have been pretty open to it. But as the game kind of went, I was kind of like, nope. I was kind of closing in on myself.
I think for me, it's a right at the beginning thing. If I wanted to have a heart to heart with who I really wanted to, I mean, I basically swore.
What about working with me?
Working with Emily? Oh, I mean, I kind of did want to work with Emily, like yes and no at the same time. I don't know. I always felt I just didn't know if we could fully trust each other. I think there would always be a little bit of I don't know, just the kind of looking behind each other's backs, kind of. I don't know.
And in retrospect, you shouldn't have trusted. It would have been a very bad idea to trust her.
Right? Yeah, and and she gives me a hard time for not wanting to work with her. And I said, if I did, I would have not made it as far as I did.
I mean, that's the problem with being the mole, right? You kind of are this poison kiss to your allies. Where if your allies don't, if your allies really trust you, and don't think you're the mole, they're gonna go home, and you're like, oh, sorry.
Yeah, so I mean, I tried to really have a heart to heart with both Aaron and Luke, and I mean, I basically, not that I confirmed that I wasn't the mole to them, but I made it pretty clear. I swore on a few things, and so
I don't know if that made the edit.
It didn't make the edit, but maybe, I don't know if it did. I don't think it did, but I swore on a few things. They didn't swear back, but it's fine. It's, take that with a grain of salt. Some people are willing to swear on things and lie about it. So I thought that was a good trust building exercise for them.
So, taking the second quiz, is Brienne still kind of your top suspect at this point, or are you kind of moving to other people?
At this point, it was probably, for me, it was Brienne, female Aaron, and Noah. I thought Noah's attack on me about not being good to the pot was a little bit weird. So I thought, okay, maybe the mole is, maybe he could be the mole. Because I didn't think him at all in the beginning. When I met him, first quiz, I said, there's no way. And then I said, well, okay, if there's no way. And then I saw this behavior. So then I thought, okay, maybe it could be him. So it was in for a big surprise there.
So Noah goes out next. So your first idea that it wasn't Noah ended up being the correct assumption. But Noah goes home. There's 10 players left, and we go on a little expedition to go take some photos of us using the panoramic spelling letters. And you end up in a group with me and Lachey. Talk to me about your side of the experience here.
Yeah. So this one, I was not going to sabotage. I really tried my hardest.
Yeah, that's what I saw too. I was like, I walked out and saying, I think Josh gave it all for this.
So when we got there, I couldn't find my phone.
That's what was wild. It's like, who walks around without their phone in the 2024, 2025?
And usually I'm always having my phone. So when we got there, I put my hands on my pockets. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't have my phone. And then I said, okay, maybe they're gonna think, okay, another suspicious activity. It turned out my phone's like slipped out of my pocket in the car, and I saw it after we did the challenge.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but I kind of kept it to myself. But the panorama challenge was hard. It was the first what, like 20 minutes. We were just kind of, or maybe longer.
It felt like a long time of us running around in circles trying to take the photo.
We were just trying to figure out how to do it. We were just testing it. So let me see if I can mute my Discord.
Yeah, it's like your Discord is popping off right now.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, what's going on? Mute server. I'm just gonna log out, to be honest, because I don't know what it is. Okay. Sorry about that. So that challenge, it was tough. It was hot. It was really hot. And
Tim mentioning he thought it was his Discord going the entire time. I actually looked as like, is my Discord open at the moment?
I didn't know if you could hear it. So then, but then after it annoyed me, I wanted to close it. Sorry.
I was just gonna kind of let it be, but thank you for closing it. All right, so it was hot. It was sunny.
It was hot, and even like running around and making the shapes, and I can't balance very well. It was hard. The bees were tough.
Bees. I'm so sorry, man.
How do you make a bee? I just don't know how you make a bee. But to be honest, we were one of the better groups. So
we got both $15 words, and they were both guessable, right? And so empirically we did the best. What was your thoughts on working with Lachey and me? Because you've been in a team with me before, but this is the first to be in a team with Lachey, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't find anything suspicious in that whole time, and so I actually kind of gain trust in that, to where I'm like, okay, I was expecting to see something that was off. And you guys, I feel like we worked pretty well together when we figured it out. Lachey was really good. You were great with the video or the photos. Because
once when John told us how to use it, I was like, oh, that makes sense.
I didn't know. Yeah, because we were trying to figure. I was trying to like Google videos on how to do panorama. But yeah, I mean, I think we worked well together. I actually trusted you guys at that point, and yeah, none of you guys were my suspects for a good bit because of that.
Yeah, I felt the same about you. It's like I walked out, I was like, man, you know, Josh clearly tried. I don't see anything suspicious. I don't know. You see the photos made by the other teams, though. Anything stand out to you?
Yeah, I think the one with Luke and Danny was really bad.
Yeah, we're like they're kind of like they just miss a whole letter, and that's
doing their A. It was bad, and so I thought, okay, maybe it's in there, and yeah, at that point I kind of almost wanted to clear our group, and I was going to just answer on those groups and just kind of lock down on people, but
our next activity is that we are going to be coupled up. We're going to go on a date night with another player, and you end up coupled with Emily. Is this your ideal person to be partnered with at the time?
In hindsight, yes, because she's the one.
In hindsight, you got a free exemption, but
I mean, in the moment, no, it wasn't. And I mean, I gave her a hard time in the confessionals, but that was all for show. But because I didn't know where she stood in the game. I didn't know her thought processes, and I didn't know who she was suspecting. So the fact that like our games were going to be a little bit tethered to each other, I was really like uncomfortable with. I wanted to kind of probably partner up with one of my allies, or so. Yeah, I mean, this is where the game kind of started to boil. Yeah.
How was that dinner that night with Emily and everyone else?
I mean, it was fun. I had a good time. I jokingly said it was the worst date ever, but because I mean, I don't have bad dates. I haven't had bad dates, to be honest. But it was good. She bought me a shot, which was really nice of her. And then during that dinner, that's when people started actually kind of talk about who they were suspects with. And by the end of that dinner, everybody was talking about Danny as the mole. And Danny and Brienne were together. So I thought, okay, this is perfect. I'm going to lock in on this team as my main suspects. And it was kind of tough to even see because Danny was basically I remember we had a conversation where she said she kind of could feel the distance that people were kind of giving just because they were talking with each other instead of their group. And this is where I was finally starting to talk game with people who I hadn't talked game with. Professor Erin, I was starting to talk with more. She was giving like information about who she thought, and I hadn't seen any of that. Same thing with Lachey and Joe. So I was already kind of like, okay, maybe like everyone's kind of catching on to who it is. But so by the end of that dinner, I was ready to kind of already go all in, to be honest.
And did you feel like all in because like the pressure that everyone else knows who the mole is, therefore we have to score really high? Was that kind of the leading reason?
Yeah, so I kind of felt that since there was so much rumbling about Danny and Brienne, I kind of wanted to just go for it and spare myself any uncertainty the rest of the game. It was almost just kind of go all in and hope for the best.
You were going to YOLO it.
I was going to YOLO it because I'm not a good person. I'm not a good player in terms of keeping my options open, just because it's hard for me to document and everybody's actions and moves.
Yeah.
So at that point I was kind of studying their every move, like every move.
Mm-hmm.
Every time, like, okay, what order they were in dinner or what car they were in. I was taking notes of all that. So I just wanted to go with my hunch. But
after dinner, we learned that not only are we together as a pair, we'll be eliminated as a pair. Right. And so we're going to take our quick tests in our pairs, highest score counts, slowest time counts. And so your fate is tied to Emily. And we all kind of realize if you're with the mole, you're safe. All right. So there's the desire to beat the mole. So what did you and Emily strategize or talk with each other about?
So originally, before we were told that, I went to Aaron, and I said, I want to go all in on Danny as the mole, or that, and then that team, de facto that team. And he said, "Ooh," and I was kind of encouraging him to do the same. I wanted people to go all in, like a couple people to go all in, just so maybe I'm not the only one to do it.
Yeah.
And so then once we got paired in teams, like I pull Emily outside and I said, okay, I think it's Danny. We got to go all in on Danny. And which is probably not the right decision because we both shouldn't be doing it since scores are different. But I was already kind of turning a little bit into a madman at that point. So yeah, like we come up with a plan that she's gonna split on you and I don't even know who else. But she was gonna go one way. I was gonna go all in on Danny and Brienne, and that was gonna be the game plan going into it.
When we get the opportunity to switch partners, how tempted were you to make the switch?
It was one of those situations where I felt comfortable with my plan and I didn't want to switch, but just the ability to do it, I just kind of wanted to do it.
I'm saying there with Lachey because we're the 15th to go, you're the 14th to go, and I'm watching you two walk. I'm like, Lachey, he's gonna do it. We can't let him be the only person to do it. We have to switch to because we can't let Josh have all the glory of doing it. Lachey's like, no, we gotta stick together. Don't you dare leave me. I'm like, okay, fine. But I was like, he's gonna do it. Josh is gonna jump. We know Josh. He's gonna do it.
If they offered some form of reward, I would have done it. But the thing is, I think the only pro would have been everybody's strategies would have had to shift.
Yeah.
And then we wouldn't have time to talk with our new partners.
Mine would have been the same because apparently Lachey and Ava would have been randomly put back together again anyways, which is pretty funny.
And then, I mean, there was a moment where Professor Aaron,
It's a good way to differentiate it. I like this.
You're right. It's a good way, right? Better than female. Aaron. Where she basically like looks at me and says, like, please don't switch. Like the genuine. It was very genuine. Mm-hmm. And I'm a softie at the core. So maybe I genuinely kind of feel like because of that, like one little moment, I decided not to switch it up. But it seems like everybody was thinking about it.
So we don't switch it up. We take the quiz. You go all in on Danny?
Pretty much, yeah.
And then the elimination ceremony happens, and Danny and Aaron both go out. No, sorry, Danny and Brienne both go out.
Yeah, so that's obviously the a whirlwind of a result. At that point, I didn't know really what to think anymore. If I was, to me, there were three options. There was one, Emily saved me with her quiz answers on splitting, however she did it, or Emily could be the mole and she just saved me that way, or maybe some of my answers were hitting other people. Even when I was going all in on people, I really didn't even get all in scores. It was still being a little. I didn't know my information that great.
Yeah, because I was wondering, without the dossier and how pointed those questions were, like, did you feel like were you able to memorize stuff based off Aaron's notebook, or were you just like at certain, like, what percent of questions just like, oh, I guess I'm gonna pick the best answer and pray?
There were moments where, if they would, there were moments where if I knew, let's say, I knew Emily's, I would know like Emily's song or movie, for example, and I would put that because I didn't want to accidentally put Riley's or Noah's.
Yeah, fair.
So if I knew somebody's in the game and I would just kind of put theirs as answers if I wasn't sure what the answer was, that I wanted it to be. So like I think I was going in all in on, which is why I'm pretty sure Tim said that I answered questions about myself sometimes.
Yeah, I'm looking back at the list Tim sent of like who our top successors were by quiz scores. And quiz 1, your top 3 apparently were Lachey, Riley, and me.
Yeah,
quiz 2 was me, Lachey, and Luke. Quiz 3, pure Danny, just all Danny's. And then quiz 4, you have a spread again.
And that honestly wasn't even my intention. Quiz 1 and 2.
Yeah, it's insane. Like I look at this and like did I really answer question these people? Oh, well, I guess I did, because it was hard.
It was hard, and I want to go fast. I didn't ever want to just kind of study down a question. I was always like, okay, when I get to a question, I give myself like a 4 to 5 second max per question. So
yeah.
It was like, if I don't know it, all right, just pick one.
So with Danny and Brienne out, your top suspects, can you rank the other 9 players left by like, like most likely a mole suspect to you to not at all mole suspect at this point in time?
I didn't have an official ranking, but I was
tiers, like suspicious.
I had tiers, yeah,
not suspicious.
I had tiers, and at this point, Luke started to really rise as a suspect for me. It was Luke. Luke was like on my radar big, and then it was after that I kind of thought maybe you, maybe Professor Aaron, maybe I'm trying to remember at that moment. There were a lot of maybes. There were a lot of maybes but I remember I was sitting on the couch trying to figure out what happened, and Luke came over to me, and I tried asking him, okay, Luke, what are you thinking? And he was being very cagey with me and kind of giving me riddles and half truths and half lies. And he told me, he said, follow the money and you'll get there. And whatever, that sentence to me made me think that he was telling me that, and that he was like not really, he didn't want to continue the conversation, and that he was the mole. I don't know. That's just how I took it. That he was the mole. And he was kind of gently saying, "Keep doing what you're doing." I don't know. So, um, so after that conversation, I thought, well, maybe that's why Riley went home, and um, maybe he's the mole. So I kind of started to watch his every movement from that moment on. And that was the beginning of my big spiral to defeat.
So, when do you go to bed this next night? This is night 2. This is when there's the board game group going on. When did you go to bed? Like, I think it was in the AM.
It was definitely in the AM. So that night, the whole group, we were playing some games, which was really fun. And then people started to trickle out and go to bed, and around maybe like 1:30, right?
That's better. Far before this.
Far before. Okay. And it came down to it was just me. It was me, Lachey, and then the eliminated players. Because honestly, I kind of wanted to just hang out with them. You know, they got eliminated.
That's one thing I feel bad that I didn't get much to do is like hang out with Riley, hang out with Brandon, Danny. Like, I regret that, but also I like sleep. I don't know. It's a hard choice.
Yeah, and I mean, as someone who was an early out, like I know how it feels to kind of see everyone, playing the game, and so I just wanted to make them have a good time. So we started drinking, and we started playing cards, and we were up till honestly about 5 a.m. We were up. And I knew I was gonna be fucked. I was gonna have a hard time. This next day was gonna be a long day. So by the time I go to bed, it's 5 a.m. and we get up at what, 8?
8 or 9, yeah.
I think I got up at 8, but people started getting up around maybe 7:30.
Joe's up at 6.
So I got little to no sleep. And I mean, I'm fully expecting to probably get eliminated today or that day. So I just kind of wanted to have a good time. And at that point, I was kind of already getting to the point of mental exhaustion. Probably from that, just because I was honestly a little bit hungover. And I told myself I wouldn't drink. I told myself I was not going to drink, and then Riley gave me a beer, and then he said, another beer.
So we can lay this all on Riley. It's his.
Yeah, it was always like, you want another beer? And I'm like, all right, okay, fine. And I don't drink often, but I just want to have a fun time. I mean, I play the games more for the fun of it.
Yeah, the fun of the people.
I'm really competitive, but I really enjoy the fun aspect. Like, I laughed a lot. Like, that, to me, those memories were probably the best parts of the game experience for me. So yeah, I was mentally exhausted with little sleep. So I was kind of like, "K Sarah, like, whatever happens, happens. I'm just gonna keep going all in and let it be."
So, next round, final 8. We're sitting on the kitchen table. The phone rings, and you answer it. Like, did you just know as soon as the phone rang, you're like, I gotta get it, or was it just coincidental because you're sitting by it?
No, I mean, it was right next to me. It was charging by the wall, and it rang, and why did I pick up the phone and answer and not just assume that it was just someone's phone was ringing? I don't know. I genuinely couldn't answer that question. But when I answered it and I hear Rachel on it, I was trying to keep it a secret, honestly, because I thought it was something more secret. But it was louder. You could hear. Yeah. You could hear it, so I'm like, oh shit.
Aaron turns in the volume by the third phone call, but like,
yeah, the volume was high, so it was when she said, "Okay, come outside." I thought it was going to be some secret little task for me to do. So that was my goal.
So you answer the phone, Aaron answers the phone, and Emily answers the phone. You go outside and you learn you're kind of playing. There's going to be two people who are lying, one person telling the truth. And you'll know when you watch your video. And you get to watch an 8-minute video of Richard Casino.
And that was amazing because I had never watched any of the Mole Ohio.
I don't think I knew that. So that was your first time kind of seeing everything that happened last season.
Yeah. So when I heard that basically Richard paid his way to get back in the game and blindsided production, I thought that was amazing. I've never heard of anything like this before. To me, legendary status.
And so what is your conversations with Emily and Aaron? Any interesting conversation with them or a strategy from them in terms of how you'd approach the challenge to get people to think you're telling the truth?
So we were incentivized to do everything kind of opposite. So we watched the bad videos and we were supposed to be truthful. And Aaron watched the video and he was supposed to be deceitful. So we basically said we're just kind of give them nothing on the answer choices, and that's why Aaron kind of was probably like not fumbling on his words. In it, but I tried to think of things on the spot about Ohio in general, but I did my best.
I mean, Aaron did. I mean, ultimately, two people vote for you. Two people vote for you. Two people vote for Emily, and one person votes for Aaron. So it kind of is like nearly best case scenario for all three of you in terms of the advantage you're going to get going into the next round. And so this becomes this mini Survivor game where 3 balls are drawn. 3 players have a chance to get advantages as long as they don't get voted out in these consecutive 3 rounds.
Yeah.
And so your balls are drawn, Aaron's balls are drawn, and Joe's is drawn. Now you only know that you have been selected. And talk to me about this challenge and how you voted people out, or did it all go according to your plan?
Pretty much. Nobody pointed the finger at me throughout the whole experience. I was nearly certain that male Aaron had it.
Yeah.
The smell of the vinegar was pretty strong near us, and I thought for sure he knew I had it too. And if he accused me, he was done for. Like we were not working together after that. So I was never going to target him, and I assumed he wasn't going to target me. And we kind of shot each other a few glances. I pointed to who we wanted to go out. So you went out first.
I went out. Luke went out first. I went out second.
Luke went out first. Yeah, and I was totally cool with that. And then with yours, it became between you and Aaron.
Yeah.
So I felt comfortable voting you out. And then Joe and I actually had started to talk and kind of said we watch each other's backs, so I didn't vote him out either. So at that point, I was just gonna either try to vote out Emily. I think was gonna be our next vote out. So that it kind of all worked out to plan.
Yeah, and so you walk out of that challenge with 2 jokers, I think, right?
Was it 2 or we all get +1s?
You got some sort of jokers. I don't think I look at my notes. I don't see how many jokers you get, but you get jokers.
Yeah, we all get jokers. I think it was 2. I think it was 2.
So yeah, so I want to kind of talk about first. We see that conversation you have with Joe. I think night 2 or say, hey, we need to work with each other. We need to get each other's backs.
Mm-hmm.
Did anything come of that beyond that conversation?
So my ultimate goal was I thought I nailed Luke as the mole. Mm-hmm. So once I nailed Luke as the mole, I was willing to tell somebody else who the mole was so we can eliminate stronger players
Mhm.
who are still splitting their answers.
Yeah.
And so that was my goal, where I wanted to go to the end with someone who we both knew who the mole was. And I kind of was testing every person to see how willing they'd be willing to work with me. And everyone kind of just shot me down. So I kind of was in a tough spot. I think my closest bet was working with Lachey. She kept saying, "Can I trust you? Can I trust you?" And I'm like, "Yes, you can trust me." But this is where the Susquehanna was tough, because Aaron started to distance himself a little bit, because I think he was starting to go down his own path.
Mhm.
And I remember asking him to see his book again, just how I've done before in the past. And he said, "Why do you need to see my book?" And once he said that, I was like, "Oh, okay, I see how it is." As the game goes on, people get more and more cagey with their information, which is just the name of the game. But I tried talking to Emily, and me and Emily had a heated conversation. But yeah, it was tough. I mean, I was also, it wasn't me. It was kind of, I was pretty sleep deprived at that point.
Yeah, so because I do feel like, from what I've heard and can tell, is the Susquehanna kind of breaks down and goes its different directions. Starting around this point, Aaron is kind of focusing on me. Luke is kind of hopping around on Joe and Lachey at this point in time, and then you're kind of like looking at Luke saying, "I'm pretty sure the mole, so I can't bring you as my ride or die to the end."
Yeah, so we always say, "Oh, our alliance made it to the top 5," but we were getting there by pure luck together. It was a fun coincidence. Oh my god, we all made it, which made me feel more inclined to think that one of us is the mole. So it's tough. It was a mind like my mind was in a blender. I
love that.
my brain, it was in a blender. Like, I just didn't know what to think at this point, and in hindsight, it just seems so clear. But when you're playing it, it's just, you just don't know who to trust.
That morning, Professor Aaron comes to the room, slaps down this postcard on that table, and there's a lot of discussion around that. What did you find out about that, as well as the postcards during that day?
So I actually didn't really find any of the postcards. And then I found one. Actually, I found one later in the day, and I thought, okay, I'll keep this to myself. But I didn't really know how to solve it. So I kind of just kept it and said, okay, no one's going to have it. And I was always trying to go back to it and try to solve it and look up, okay, what clues are in here. But then we'd have to do something. So I said, okay, I'll focus on it later. So I put it in my luggage. I put one of them in my luggage, and it turns out there were others. So
you got a souvenir.
I don't think I took it home with me, but I had one in my backpack, and I thought, okay, I'm not going to let anybody see this. So I just held on to it for the most part.
So this 4th round, looking back at this is the last round that you're really splitting, right? I see you have answers on Luke, Emily, Joe, Lachey, and me this time, but probably Luke is your primary target at this point.
Yeah, no, Luke was definitely my primary target. I told him, if I go in on Luke this round, and I survive, I'm gonna make it to the end of the game. And I think a lot of people had that about their. Yeah. A lot of people were willing to go hard on players. So we all kind of thought, if we survive, we're in. And so that's exactly what happened. So I felt even better about my decision once I made it through.
Yeah, so Professor Aaron is eliminated, not someone you're suspecting. We're at the final 7, and we kind of do this challenge where Joe's the best communicator, not you. And we have 2 groups of 3, right? So I am in a group with Aaron and Emily, and we're gonna answer some questions. And you're gonna go the group with Lachey and Luke to try to guess our answers to said questions. And any thoughts about this challenge, or what you heard in terms of the answers people were making?
This is when we were basically saying like who is most likely to win.
Yeah, most selfish, like the most, want to see eliminated, and deserves to win.
Yeah, I was expecting to get the most selfish. That was a given. And then all the other answers were just kind of, they were okay to me. Nothing stood out as being that I was against. I think I forgot who we put as most we would be happiest with winning.
Luke. So we put you as the person who deserves to win, and then your team guessed Luke.
Yeah, and actually was very that made me feel good. I thought I would, if there was a not want to win, I would get it just because of perception in the game.
Well, it was interesting. So because it was like, who do you want to see eliminated next? And I was like, I want you to see Josh eliminated next. Everyone's like, no, we don't want to see eliminated next. We want to see Lachey to go home. I'm like, okay. And it was interesting because I think for me it was like, I felt at this point like I don't think Josh is the mole, and therefore I want to see non-mole people come into the game. But for them, they're like, we know Josh is the mole, so he can stay, or he's not the mole, so he can stay.
Yeah, yeah. I mean that definitely was a boost to my ego, and then other than that, all the answers were good. I don't think there was that much sabotage there, so I felt okay with that comp. It was quick, it was good.
And then we get to the crinkle.
Yeah.
This, I think, is probably one of my favorite challenges to watch in the entire season, is watching 3 of you just lose your minds in that room trying to make Halle Berry.
Yeah, and they wanted to do Sarah Jessica Parker. And I didn't know. They said, oh, because we saw pixelated pictures of them, that were photographed, and they said, oh, this looks like Sarah Jessica Parker. I said, yeah, but what we are going to make is not going to, it's just going to look like a blonde blob.
Yeah. So
I said, we got to try Halle Berry, because nobody even knows who Phyllis, what was her name?
I don't know. Tim can tell us who that person is, but I've never heard of the name before this challenge.
No, neither had I. So the Halle Berry, I mean, 5 minutes in, I knew it was going to be a flop. We were not going to win. So I started to have fun with it. They all started to have fun with it. They kept saying, oh, you're sabotaging Josh. I'm like, this is a joke. We're not. We just lost our minds in there. It was hot in there in the room, too.
You're probably watching Luke the entire time anyways.
I was watching Luke. I knew we weren't going to win. I was tired. My energy level was so low. I was just I was messing around, and it was a chaotic mess. It was a beautiful car crash. Just to see the 3 of us all kind of laugh was really fun, and yeah, I was convinced that one of us was one of them were the mole at that point. So I was just kind of watching, just having a good time. It was just kind of it was an experience.
Imagine what that would look like had the mole actually been in your group.
Yeah, we probably would have done better, right? Because you guys were working so cohesively. Everybody was doing their little assigned parts. They were giving you a hard time in yours.
The most drama we had is that I wasn't good and nor was I helpful.
Can you imagine if any of the 3 of us were on the other team? They would have been having a meltdown.
I would have looked great in comparison.
Yeah. I think the 3 most dysfunctional people
who just kind of lived off of chaos and just being a hot mess were on the same team. And I think we all were just Team TV at that point, and just we just knew we weren't going to do well, so we just kind of made our Halle Berry was. I don't know how much better we could have done it if we really focused on it, but
you had hard choices. It would have been difficult even if it looked like Halle Berry. For me, it's like, is that Halle Berry? But man, all the extra stuff really made us feel like, what is happening?
It got to the point where it was okay. We're gonna lose this. Let's just make this even as crazy as we can. So we were just slapping on pieces, putting glue, trying to put an X, and then every single thing I did, Luke was giving me a hard time about. And I said, "You're really gonna give me a hard time about this? Look at what we're dealing with. Like, look at this, and you're gonna tell me the nose was wrong? Come on."
Yeah, but when we see it, we're like there. It's again one of my like the picture of Lachey's jaw dropping. It's like, what is this?
Yeah. No, it was horrible.
So, for the round 5 quiz, you are gonna go all in on Luke, fully all in on Luke.
Yeah.
Are you? What are the conversations you're having with Luke or Aaron at this point? This is kind of midday. This is kind of round 5, midday of.
Aaron was really suspicious of you. I didn't really see it all that much. You were almost like a backup in case of maybe Luke going home. I think if Luke had gone home, maybe I would have looked at you, but he was on that track. And I wasn't.
And he was open to you about that.
It took a little bit to get out of him. I think he told me you or Emily at that point. And I was like, I was like, okay, no. So then with Luke, I was trying to talk about, I think I mentioned Luke to him, and I don't think he was buying that. So we kind of were going separate ways, and we said that if we were to make it through, then we would talk again. So my combos with Luke, I think I talked to him in the billiards room, and I was basically asking him again if he was gonna, and he just loved to fuck around with me.
It's the shirts.
It was the shirts. It was all of it. It was the every single thing he told me. It was always just okay. He would say, "Well, I think it could be this person, this person, this person, this person." And I said, "You can't be thinking it's all these people." So that was another sign that I thought it was him. It was everything was just adding up to me. So like in my thought, I thought I nailed it. So I decided to just go all in on him again.
So you survive. Joe goes home. Someone you kind of talked about working with, but I don't think anything substantial came out of that.
Yeah.
So feeling with Luke staying in the game and going all in, surviving, you're feeling pretty good at this point.
Yeah. I'm feeling pretty good. Yeah.
Did you feel like anyone else was on Luke?
No, I didn't think so. I thought that people were splitting. I thought people were suspicious of you and Luke. So I was kind of keeping to myself at that point that I was going my thought process on Luke. I had told Lachey actually. No, I told Lachey Luke, and I told her to maybe go all in with me on him. And I wasn't sure if she was going to do that or not. So, but yeah, that was pretty much it.
So going to round 6, this is the final 6. We have that opening challenge where we kind of play blackjack to determine the order we go into this room to try to match pictures of people to their loved ones. You end up being, I can't remember your order. I think you're like the second to last person to go.
Yeah, and I was trying to throw the competition to get last because I thought last place would get something good.
Okay, so you wanted me to win.
I wanted you to win, but I didn't win, or I won.
Life is so out of your control. It's hard.
It was hard. It was out of your control, and yeah, I remember hitting the round prior on a card I shouldn't have, and it busting, and I did it purposely. But yeah, I wanted to go last, but the picture challenge, going down, I didn't really. The only person's face I recognized was Riley's wife, which I knew because I saw it on his phone, the picture. So I was like, okay. So I figured that out, and then everyone else was just kind of a shot in the dark. I didn't know if there was any suspicion or suspicious activities at that point. So at that point, I didn't really care.
And so when it's revealed that, hey, some photos were hidden.
Yeah, I didn't really. I just assumed maybe could have been anybody doing it, not just the mole. So at that point, I think I didn't even like harp on it that much.
Yeah, it was. I saw that and I was like, wow, I never would have thought to do that. And it was kind of like I think a lot of people were saying, oh, Josh must have done that. Josh did this. And I remember coming to you and asking, like, did you do this? And you're like, no, not me. It was like the way when I entered the room, I was like, okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, no, I didn't screw it up, and I didn't even know that you could have done that. So
it was just like, man, I wish I'd realized. Oh, there's no rules against it, so therefore.
I mean, you were going last anyways, but
yeah. That point, it would just be like a big middle finger to the team, like, hey, I messed up everything.
Yeah. So I mean, I mean, my strategy throughout this day was to not be malicious to the group. Yeah. I was hoping that my trajectory was going to be, okay, starting out hot and doing all this chaos, and then kind of going under the radar.
Yeah.
And then make people suspicious of me. Because, okay, he started out hot. Now he's kind of playing more level-headed. So that's why I was just that was my strategy. Because honestly, I was tired too. So that's a big common theme.
We have that final challenge of the day where we're at the store and we have to well, there's the battleship component that Lachey's gonna be playing battleship, while the rest of us are ferrying candy to unlock players to go potentially get Lachey more shots on this board.
Yeah.
How are your chopstick skills, and how is ferrying candy between Emily and Luke?
I did my best. I don't know if you guys felt that way, but I was trying my best.
Yeah, same.
Luke and Emily, I think they were doing. I think Emily was kind of doing bad there. Luke was doing okay. I thought you and we were passing pieces pretty well. I was really hoping to go into the secret room.
Yeah, both of us got denied that. No, I'm not super surprised that Lachey did not pick us.
Yeah, I was hoping. When I found out that they didn't, all those advantages were there and people were passing them up, I was pissed. So
would you have taken the advantage?
Yeah, I would have taken. I would have taken the exemption. I would have taken it.
Yeah. So when Aaron tells you I turned down an exemption, what's going through your head?
I kind of snapped on him and I said that he deserves to go home. That that it was ridiculous, and I kind of honestly, I was in a bad mood. I was hungry, and I was just. It was probably just a little bit hangry, to be honest. And so that's when I had my infamous, I'm done sharing information with all of you.
Which, again, I wish was caught on camera. But yes, at this moment, it's like Josh is not going to tell anyone anything anymore. It's over.
I was just pissed. And that's why once I had food in me, I felt bad. which is kind of why I wanted to like pay for people's dinners, and I didn't want people to think I was like a dick or anything.
You paid for our dinner that night, which was really nice of you.
Yeah, no, I mean, I like to like I like to give. That's like I get whenever I'm like charitable or not charitable, like that's not charitable, but like whenever I do things that are nice to other people, like I feel good about myself. So I wanted to do that, and I didn't want people to think I was like mean or just kind of being a bad sport.
I never got that. I never got that impression, so you don't have to worry.
Yeah.
At least for me, you don't need to worry about it.
So yeah, because I realized like after I ate, I was like, man, I was in a bad mood, and I was kind of like snapping on some people. So yeah, so I with Aaron, I was kind of being mean to him, telling him I want him to go home and that he should have taken it, and pissed at the group for not taking advantages, which honestly better for me, but I was pissed that I couldn't go.
Well, because you and I could have been in such big trouble, right? If and granted, Emily doesn't matter because we know she's involved, but at the time we did. But if Luke and Aaron both walk out with those advantages, it kind of becomes like, okay, it's you versus two other people at this point. It's not you versus four. It's like a much smaller, like it's very little wiggle room, especially let's say Emily was a player, right? And Luke and Aaron are both those players. Like, well, shoot, it's me versus one other person.
Yeah.
So it could have been really ugly this round.
It could have been.
But you go all in on Luke again, and Lachey goes out. Again, a player you're not really suspecting, and you're kind of walking the final day with the sus squad, for better or worse, Luke and Aaron. Then you also have me and Emily along for the ride too.
Yeah, and going into that final day, I told myself that there was no other option for me to switch. If I was to change gears, one, I would really like be mad at myself that I had it and then I switched.
Yeah.
So I told myself, I'm just gonna stay on Luke, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and if I'm right, I'm right. But I didn't want to change my mole suspect either, because I didn't have all the information on anybody else. Everything
you were good for Luke, but everyone else you're like,
Yeah, so like if I was to say, okay, Emily's the mole, and try to go off of that, I would have had a really hard time backtracking everything. So I told myself, you know what, let's just go with it. And I mean, 3 quizzes in a row, pretty much on him, I felt pretty good.
So if you had a backup suspect at all at this point, who is it going to be?
Probably,
if you were the switch,
probably you.
Okay.
Yeah, I think if Luke went home, I might have maybe you. I might have looked at Aaron, but when I tell you, I thought I had it. Like because similarly when I played in Michigan Mole, when I thought it was Jason and I went in on him, and then two quizzes in a row when I thought I had him. Like I had him, I figured out the mole, and I thought it was the same thing here. Okay, I just confirmed that I got it. Now I just need to win it.
Yeah. So at this point, you're like, you think Luke's the mole. Aaron's kind of doing his own thing. He's not sharing information. What about Emily? Because you have a conversation with Emily after Lachey goes home, and Emily's kind of telling you, I think it's Steven. Well, it's actually a funny conversation because like there's some miscommunication baked in there too. But she's trying to tell you, she's putting her effectively she's split on Lachey and Steven, so therefore she thinks Steven's the mole.
To be honest, a few of my friends who were watching really took that conversation and nailed that Emily was the mole at that point. And and me watching it back, I should have figured out from that conversation that she was being deceitful, because she was saying she put answers on you, and then she tells me that she only put two questions on you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay. And she said she put the rest on Lachey. So I say, when you ask someone who you put on the quiz, it's not, oh, I put one question on them. It's who were you focused on in the quiz. So that was in a way, I felt like I caught her in a lie there, but I didn't care. I mean, I don't think I think I was just my ego was a little too high, or I was just kind of too locked in that I just kind of ignored all of the red flags of that conversation. But yeah, it was I should have known.
When did you go to bed this next night?
This next night, well, Riley and Brienne left.
Yeah,
that was a big hit to staying up late. I think I went home. I don't know. I went home. I think I went to bed around maybe like 3 to 4. I was talking. I was talking to Danny and Lachey for a good while, and we were trying to figure out a card game to play, but we couldn't. It was hard to do with 3 players. We played beer pong while you and Luke were upstairs studying, and we all played beer pong. And I tried to get Luke to play, and he didn't want to. And I was like,
you're making it into the final day of the game, and so the finale is like coming close. You're gonna feel really good with saying, "Hey, as someone who's not a huge Mole fan, I'm getting to the end."
I was the last 2 quizzes. I was so calm. I came in with zero stress because the first couple quizzes, I'm like, rocking back and forth, and then by now I'm chill. I'm like, okay, which one of you are going home? Based on that's how I'm making it feeling. So when Aaron goes home, I'm like, oh, sorry, Aaron.
Yeah, so like that last round for the finale, we do the memory game that sends Aaron and I to the grocery store, and we see you, Luke, and Emily on the couch with each other. And that was kind of it was interesting hearing those conversations the 3 of you were having at that point in time. Especially now watching back, knowing that you're suspecting Luke this entire thing.
What can you summarize what happened there? I don't remember.
I don't have notes, but it's just like there's some tense conversation with the 3 of you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I think that was we were having tense conversations, but I was kind of indifferent at that point. Everything that anybody did at that point that wasn't Luke didn't really concern me at all. So I didn't really care what anybody was doing. At that point, I was trying to maybe build more money for the pot. I was trying my best and everything. I was cool. I was calm. By then, every round, I always say, "Oh, I'm going home next." Just as a way to fake everybody out.
Luke breaks out the mole puppet. So you wake up with a thigh for one.
Yeah, the mole puppet. That was so funny, and it's just like, what this guy is wearing these mole shirts. He has a mole puppet. He would be an amazing mole, I would think. Because I think he played very similar to how he did.
That was one of the things I realized, like, man, if Luke was the mole, he wouldn't change. He'd do the same thing anyway.
He would do the same thing. He would probably wear the mole shirts. And it's like, what if the mole was basically saying, "No, I was wearing these shirts. I told you I was the mole." I was expecting that to be the case. But yeah.
That's what Luke should have said when we had the final round table. Like, why are you the mole? Luke just said, like, "Here I am."
Yeah,
like that would have been fun if he had said that at the end. When we do the gift bag challenge, we nominate you to be the leader, and I feel bad because it's actually the worst position to
right
in the entire season. Let's be honest.
The first time I was gonna do something, I had like it's very hard to predict what everyone wanted to do because I feel like everyone's
You
trying to
nailed
think.
me.
Well, I feel like if anything, I just kind of got lucky, because I figured there's no way in hell I was going to win that.
Mhm.
After watching everybody do it, someone's going to switch it up. Luke's going to do something weird, and Aaron is going for the books, which I did not expect.
Yeah.
So I was pretty wrong for the most part. And that was a tough position. I wish I was on the other side of it. Granted, it probably would have been something similar, but I think it's a hard challenge for either side to win something.
What advantage would you have gone for?
I think I would have gone for the exemption.
Okay.
I think that somebody would have gone for the Jokers, and I think that it's better. I didn't want the exemption in anybody else's hands.
Yeah. So it's more
So-
to deny someone versus using it yourself.
Yeah.
So again, Aaron goes out that round. At your point, you're just like, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, like Aaron was a great ally, but to now, this is kind of business. This is business as usual. It's just a matter of time. We're knocking out the players that don't have it. So I still feel good about myself, and now I'm in the finale. So.
How'd you like your finale challenge? Being blindfolded, walking around with a cell phone in the room, getting weird directions.
Oh, that was tough. Did we do well in that? I don't remember if we did well in that.
I don't.
It's
think,
okay.
I don't think we added. We got like a couple items, but not great.
Yeah. That one was hard. But I think
felt
you guys.
Luke's strategy of hey, everyone only look at a certain place and nowhere else was really bad because then like unfortunately I never looked at the shelves where the stuff was changed because Luke did and it was just like oh no this is not going to go well as soon as I saw how the divisions were working.
Yeah, no, it was a fun challenge. I thought everybody kind of did well with it. Like the communication down to me, I thought was pretty good. But I think it was a hard challenge.
Agree. And then the final round table where we're going to kind of play cards and try to match what other people think. That was such a like dice roll in terms of how that would work out too.
Which one was that?
So we're at the round table, right? You have cards with everyone's names, and you had to answer questions like, what two players are the least deserving? What two players are the easiest to get along with, etc. Kind of these like, I can't remember all the questions were. But you had to like lay down two cards, and if you fully match the person in charge, you got $8. If you get one, nothing happens. If you miss both, you lose $8 from the pot.
I know I felt bad about that challenge. I didn't want to be like, it felt mean to some of the people who were eliminated at times.
Yeah.
So with that challenge, it to me was kind of a crapshoot a little bit.
Yeah.
Everybody kind of had different opinions on things, so on who was robbed, who wasn't.
And this leads into the final test, where again, at this point, you're like, Luke or go home. It has to be Luke because I'm still here.
Yeah, I mean, we got into this point. I just have to go with it at this point. And I thought, okay, well, I thought you were gonna beat me for sure, just because I thought you had better notes. I thought, oh, Steven's spending all his time with Luke studying.
Because that's true. I think at one point, like you come up and you and Luke are studying with each other, and Luke is trying to get you to think me, and you're like lying on first about Luke.
Yeah, I was asking him questions about all the events, and he would tell me, okay, Luke was in this, Emily was in this, Steven was in this, but I would just write down where Luke was in and ignore everything else. So yeah, I just kind of thought it was really cut and dry at that point, and I was kind of just fooled the whole way through a little bit. And I mean, credit to Emily and credit to the just to the game that also Luke played too, because I mean, I was suspicious of his behavior. So, and honestly, kind of lucky and unlucky for me, because I should have gone home way sooner. And the fact that Luke hung around the whole time is also kind of unlucky, because I never got to really pivot from that. If he would have gone home, I could have definitely then, maybe saw something else.
And so, do you wish you had gone home earlier, or like you made it to the finale?
No, I love that I made it to the finale. I mean, I'm happy because I got to experience all facets of the game. I came in the game not thinking I would win, but I just wanted to do the best that I could. I'm not a traditional mole player. I'm trying to be a scrappy mole player. I'm always trying to like find different little weird strategies to get ahead, and be strategic if I could. And I kind of felt like I was on my own in this game, more so than I was in my other games. So I kind of had, I mean, my strategy was probably very questionable, but
I think, like you said, had you found two people who were like much more open and locking, like let's say you link up with Lachey and Joe. I think Lachey and Joe would have been much more open about sharing that information with you than I think ultimately Aaron and Luke were as a result. I mean, I think going into that third day, I think Joe, I from what I can tell, we're both pretty on board, at least with each other, like being very upfront with where they're at.
Yeah, I was almost trying to play it like it was a game of traders, where the faithfuls would get together, and really just compare their notes, figure it out, and then one of us may the best man win at that point. But yeah, I did my best, and I'm super happy with making it to the end. I'd be like, I got to play the whole game. I got to, I played 3 times the mole, and I've only seen the red screen. I didn't get to see the red screen.
That's a pretty good conversion rate for a game, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you think in Survivor, if I played 3 times, made Final Tribal Council twice, I'm like, that's great.
I know. I'm a first boo and a 2-time finalist. Now, whatever happened in between, it was like the mole. It's like when I tell people I played the Mole Ohio, I was a finalist in the Mole Ohio. Now, was from the beginning of the game to the end of the game, was it an up and down battle where I ended up being wrong? Yes, but we don't talk about that. So,
hey, I scrapped. I made it to the end. Right, that's more than almost all our cast, more than 2/3 of our cast can claim.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it was a really fun cast, a well-produced game. I usually hate LRG episodes. I think a lot of them are not that they're not good. I just don't find enjoyment in watching LRGs, like the episodes games. But I actually was very invested and I actually really enjoyed watching it, and it wasn't because I was in it. I just think it was it was edited very well. And I mean, the price of the game was a steal. I mean, all these games are like $500, so this one was cheap.
I mean, looking back, anything you wish you did differently or in the experience? Or the answer is I could have slept less and had more fun.
No, I'm cool with everything that I did. I have no regret, which is why I'm happy with the experience overall. I had fun. I went with my gut, and at the end of the day, like if I go with my gut and I'm wrong, at least I did what I wanted to do. I didn't get influenced by other people to do something I didn't want to do. And like I think I was I enjoyed being a character on the show. Like that was part of what I wanted to do. I like to watch myself on TV if I could. And this is going to be a big hit to my rep in games. People aren't going to trust me in games anymore. I said, I promise I'm not like this.
I swear I'm not, but for Team TV, I make this.
I'm typically not OTT. I'm an introvert. I'm usually more calm, cool, collected, but
as soon as you took out the knife for your photo, I was like, oh man, he's been putting thought into this. I even think about props.
Yeah, I just wanted to be a character because like even if I'm first out or second out, at least I can maybe made a little bit of an impact on the season. So that's kind of why I did the tube thing too. Is if I'm out first, at least I have that segment. But Mike Sorrentino. But yeah, I mean, a bunch of my friends were always clowning me for my actions in the game while they were watching, and so I found that very fun. And it was it was a lot of fun just to kind of see the reactions and people's thought processes, and honestly, and great props to you. You played a great game.
Thank you. Yeah, I kept going in the finale. I was like, man, I don't think Josh the Mole, but man, if Josh the Mole and I'm going out like this, what a way to lose. Where I was just like,
I know, I wish I
was
was.
face. I'm like, it can't be it, but is it?
And I always want to be a mole or a trader in games, and they never cast me as them because I'm always like they always put me like the decoy or what? Not a decoy, but like people always are suspicious of me.
Yeah, people, it's just like I'm too big of a target, or people are gonna kind of look and say, "It has to be him."
But I mean, I would love to see a mole. I don't know if this just happened, like a mole who does like the double bluff, who plays very out there, in your face, to the point where people kind of write him off and say, "Oh, let's just."
Well, and I think had you in the mole, like that would have happened. Well, who knows actually happened because some people's like kind of answers would have worked a bit differently. But I mean. That's what I was really worried about. Like, my gosh, what if it's all been in front of us the entire time?
I know, and I mean, I had friends that were watching who were convinced that I was just like playing in front of people's faces at the mall, and I'm like, no, unfortunately not. It would have been amazing, but unfortunately not. But yeah, I mean, one day I'll be a mole in a game.
So
Hopefully.
besides yourself and besides Emily, who are the casters you'd like to see play the mole someday?
Oh, like play again?
Or play as the mole in a future game?
Oh, Luke for sure would be a great mole. I think Brienne would be a great mole. I think. Man, everybody has cases for being a good mole in the season. Like our cast was not a very pot friendly cast. We really drained that pot ourselves.
Yep, we were very efficient at that.
Because like you made what, like $150?
I think I got like $240 out of it.
Okay, $240. I mean, out of $1,000, that's insane.
But boy, 1,000 was very much like you have the perfect game. Then the mole is just hamstrung from the very beginning. Like some of those challenges, you're just like, oh, we're never making money off of this. Like this is just too. It was just like, oh, this is written against us, which is fine.
Yeah, it was. We all were our own worst enemies at certain points. So. But I would love to meet. It was a very like tight knit cast. I'm really happy with that I was able to play.
Josh, any final things as we wrap up here?
No, not really. I mean, I think I've said it all. I'm I'm pretty happy with the game I played. I'm proud I was able to make it to the end. Um, but just as I made it to the end, I could have easily not, and it could have been somebody else. I could have easily been out first or second. That's just kind of the beauty of the game.
Yeah.
That it's a lot of it. It just comes down to some of it comes down to luck. But I wouldn't have changed anything for the world, and I you know I think I think if I ever play the mole again, I may try a different strategy. Maybe.
I think again, I think the strategy of getting people together is good. I think it's just you figure out the right people.
I know you get it's all. It's I mean same thing in Survivor. You got to find the right allies. Oh, thanks, Tim.
Well, Josh, any shout outs or any games you want to highlight as we close out here?
Oh my gosh. No.
It's like I realized some of the question.
I'm gonna say one and forget someone other that I'm gonna. You know what? Just go play LRGs. They're worth it. You're gonna have an experience. So go play any of them.
Keep your eye out because I am excited to see you play more games and see what your game style looks in other games and what you end up doing. I'm very excited to see that.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you all for tuning in. This has been another episode of the Live Rally Game Podcast. We're going to have a couple more deep dives of other players. Stay tuned. Next week, I'll talk to the runner-up. I'll talk to Luke, and then the week after, I'm gonna get the mole herself on this podcast. So get excited for their tell-all stories. So thank you, Josh, and have a good rest of your evening, everyone.